I'm so happy and proud of myself for writing a book, but when you're writing about the most painful times of your life, like it has been emotionally exhausting too.
I read your book last night. I have a lot of questions for you, including how are you feeling knowing that people are starting to read it? The book's going to be out soon. Are you anxious? Are you nervous? Tell me everything.
Yeah, I'm super excited for sure, but I think the nerves have definitely kicked in. Just knowing that it's out there, I have no control of it now. It's just, it is what it is, and people can take it and learn from it. It can be beneficial or not. I just know I did, as much as I could and worked really hard, and I'm really proud of the outcome. So, but yeah, even with all that said, like I'm still like getting a little nervous for sure.
I think that there's a lot of questions answered that maybe people have been wanting to know. I think it opens up and says a lot of things people didn't know about you if they watched you on the show. Why was a book the format for you to do that, answer some of those questions, or maybe talk about things that people have been maybe asking you about for a while or wanting to know?
My life has been shared very openly, like vulnerably, through a lens of a television show. It's always been for entertainment. And while a lot of that was my real life, there's a lot of parts that fall through the cracks that are filtered out. And instead of it being, again, just told through a funnel of other people, I really wanted to take the time and be able to share my story my way, in the most authentic way, most vulnerable way. And so it was really important for me to do. And I'd always wanted to write a book. I didn't know that I'd have the opportunity to write a book about my life like this, but I think it came actually at the right time. And I think it'll help people actually get to know me really, truly for the first time.
There's a lot of childhood stuff. There's some stuff with your parents' relationship, some trauma with your aunt and your cousins, and that story, which was incredible to read, and I'm so sorry. What was more difficult to write about? Stuff like that, like personal childhood stuff, or some of the show stuff and the more salacious stuff? Like, what was the hardest thing for you to sit down and put on paper?
That's interesting. I think they both came with their own challenges. The childhood stuff, specifically the tragedy with my aunts and my aunt and my cousin, was really hard because I hadn't really ever processed it. I had just gotten a therapist around the time of deciding to write this book, and it was the first time, like it was kind of like an assignment she gave me to write it. And so that was really hard because there was obviously a lot of emotions there. But on the other side of that, it was really healing, and not only for me, but for my family, which kind of comes up at the end of the book, like how it really has healed our family from something that has continued to be like that hidden thorn in everybody's side that we just cover up and pretend's not there. So that was definitely hard, but I do think the relationship Bachelor stuff was hard to write too, because I was processing it all, and it was just, there was so much that happened at one time in my life. So trying to really dig through the weeds, kind of go back into that time was definitely hard too. So this book was, oh my gosh, it was a challenge for sure. Like, I'm so happy and proud of myself for writing a book, but when you're writing about the most painful times of your life, like it has been emotionally exhausting too. So now I'm glad that I can just celebrate it being done, and kind of I feel like the book is my opportunity to publicly shed the past, if that makes sense, and kind of step into the newness and fullness of my life, because I've kind of gone back there and dug up the weeds and pulled and picked them out. So excited to be able to celebrate that.